So the big news, obviously, of this week, big news that, of course, does not involve the United States Supreme Court, was the testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson on Tuesday during that impromptu hearing from the January 6th committee. And it's left a lot of people wondering, did Cassidy Hutchinson, with all of her explosive revelations, implicate Donald Trump in actual criminal activity? Now, I know for a lot of people, they say, well, hell yes, she obviously did. But if you think about it, the things that she described, it's kind of difficult to say that, yes, this rises to the level of criminal activity. You know, encouraging armed people to come into the protest, or actually encouraging security to let the armed people come in, that's not necessarily a crime. You know, lunging for the steering wheel, throwing his lunch against the wall and getting ketchup everywhere. It's gross. It's not a crime. But does that mean that Donald Trump is not going to face any legal consequences for what Cassidy Hutchinson revealed? Absolutely not. Because let's not forget that there are multiple civil lawsuits, actually 6 of them, that have been filed against Donald Trump for his involvement in the riot itself. In fact, those 6 civil lawsuits allege that Donald Trump is to blame for injuries and damage sustained during the Capitol riot because he, in fact, encouraged it. And that is where Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony can really have a very large impact. The example of Donald Trump encouraging security to take away the metal detectors so that his armed people could make it into that rally, that is something that could easily come into play with a civil lawsuit. And of course, like I said, all these lawsuits are alleging that Trump instigated this, that he wanted it to happen, that he, in fact, loved every minute of it, and he is therefore responsible for the injuries suffered during it. Encouraging armed people to come into that rally, you know, not the riot, but the rally itself, that could be seen as Donald Trump wanting violence. Because, again, in a civil trial, the threshold of having to prove the intent is far lower than it would be in a criminal trial. Criminal trial, if you do not have that intent, you got nothing. Civil trial, on the other hand, you don't have to have that intent. All you have to do is to be able to say this guy put people in danger, or this guy wanted to put people in danger, and encouraging security to allow armed individuals to come into the rally. It's kind of hard to argue that Donald Trump wasn't putting people in danger with his request. So that, of course, is the big thing here. Can this be used against Donald Trump in a civil trial? Well, what you would have to do at that point is actually bring Cassidy Hutchinson in to testify once again and basically tell the story all over in front of a jury. Not out of the realm of possibility by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's likely something that now, based on her current testimony, would in fact happen. And Donald Trump so far has lost all of his appeals. He has one pending right now, but he's lost the previous ones trying to get these lawsuits dismissed. His lawyers are arguing that he spoke at the Stop the Steal rally in his official capacity as the President of the United States. Therefore, he would be immune from these lawsuits. But you see, therein lies another problem. Because if his lawyers are trying to tell the court that no, he was acting as the president when he spoke there, then that, of course, opens him up for the potential of criminal prosecutions because he was using his official capacity as the President of the United States. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place right now for Donald Trump and his legal team. Honestly, if I were them, I would say the bigger hit would be getting hit with the criminal charges. Just go ahead and pay off those civil lawsuits and don't try to argue that you were doing it in your official capacity as President of the United States because you don't want to implicate yourself in further criminal activity. It's easier to pay money than it is to go to jail, but we know how much Donald Trump hates losing money. So best of luck with that legal defense, because it may come back to bite you in the end. Hey everyone. This is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.